Move away from these two areas into the northwest and we'll be back into some sunshine. But tomorrow, Naga and Charlie, temperatures will be down a touch on what we're looking at today. I don't know if you can see, but I'm surrounded by flying butterflies. They're different sizes, but they're bigger than anything I've seen before in the butterfly kingdom.
Carol, weren't they supposed to not wake up until 8 o'clock? Have you been disturbing the butterflies?
I think they're attracted to our lovely cameraman's Kev's lights. And I'm just going to say to him, switch them off straight afterwards. I don't want one of these big ones landing on me. Naga,
yeah, but it would be great telly, wouldn't it? If it landed right on your forehead. We do really want that.
Do you know what? I am cursing I wore this jumper. It's got a big flower in it. I didn't even think. Wouldn't that be the pits if it landed on my flower?
Actually, no, it wouldn't. It's going to make the next 3 hours so much fun. Carol, thanks so much. It's the jeopardy.
We're back with Carol later on, of course. Just coming to 6:15.
I don't know if you can see, but I'm surrounded by flying butterflies. They're different sizes, but they're bigger than anything I've seen before in the butterfly kingdom.
Carol, weren't they supposed to not wake up until 8 o'clock? Have you been disturbing the butterflies?
I think they're attracted to our lovely cameraman's Kev's lights. And I'm just going to say to him, switch them off straight afterwards. I don't want one of these big ones landing on me. Naga,
yeah, but it would be great telly, wouldn't it? If it landed right on your forehead. We do really want that.
Do you know what? I am cursing I wore this jumper. It's got a big flower in it. I didn't even think. Wouldn't that be the pits if it landed on my flower?
Actually, no, it wouldn't. It's going to make the next 3 hours so much fun. Carol, thanks so much. It's the jeopardy.
We're back with Carol later on, of course. Just coming to 6:15 now.
I don't want one of these big ones landing on me. Naga,
yeah, but it would be great telly, wouldn't it? If it landed right on your forehead. We do really want that.
Do you know what? I am cursing I wore this jumper. It's got a big flower in it. I didn't even think. Wouldn't that be the pits if it landed on my flower?
Actually, no, it wouldn't. It's going to make the next 3 hours so much fun. Carol, thanks so much.
Carol is at the Butterfly House at Blenheim Palace for us this morning. Already, Carol, you have ignited the debate, moth, butterfly. What are we looking at right now?
This is an atlas moth, actually, Charlie. It's the largest moth in the world with the second longest wingspan. If I put my hand next to it, gives you a rough idea of the kind of size that it actually is. Because the drought last year and the heat wave had an adverse impact on some species, some of the native species of butterflies, whilst others flourished. And you can see in the butterfly house the various butterflies hanging from the mesh net on the ceiling. And they will come alive increasingly as we go through the course of the morning. And we're going to be speaking to a butterfly expert, actually, about the butterflies later on this morning. Now, if you are outside, it's a mild start to the day. It's worth mentioning as well, if you've been noticing your throat's a wee bit itchy, could be because the pollen levels across much of England and Wales today are moderate. And we're talking tree pollen. Yes, we're back into that season once again. Charlie and Naga.
Do you know what, Carol? I was having a sneezing fit a little earlier, off camera, and it is hay fever season, and I'm definitely being affected. And I saw you had a little croak in your throat as well, so grab a cup of tea. We'll see you later, eh?
Thanks, Naga.
It is hay fever season, and I'm definitely being affected. And I saw you had a little croak in your throat as well, so grab a cup of tea. We'll see you later, eh?
Thanks, Naga.
Wunderbar, heute Abend in so großer Gesellschaft zu sein.
The King praises Germany's extraordinary hospitality towards Ukrainian refugees during his first state visit as monarch.
Good morning from the Butterfly House in Blenheim Palace. We are surrounded by 300 butterflies of varying sizes. But did you know the heat wave and the drought of last year had an adverse impact on some species of butterfly? We'll be talking about that a bit later. The weather, rain to clear in northern England, and then it's a day of sunshine and some heavy showers.
Wunderbar, heute Abend in so großer Gesellschaft zu sein.
Eddie Martin's going to join us. He's going to tell us about starring in The Power.
Wunderbar heute Abend. Wunderbar heute Abend in so großer Gesellschaft zu sein.
Good morning from the Butterfly House in Blenheim Palace. We are surrounded by 300 butterflies of varying sizes, shine and some heavy showers.
Wunderbar heute Abend in so großer Gesellschaft zu sein.
Good morning from the Butterfly House in Blenheim Palace.
Pension payouts. The Department for Work and Pensions wanted it to happen in the early 2040s. Basically, we can't make a decision yet. We need more data. We need to look at the impact of COVID on life expectancy. And because of that, we're basically kicking the can down the road. We're not going to make a decision probably for another 3 years on that. It's going to be delayed. The decision is going to be delayed for a while. And cynics in the political world, Naga, will point out that that means the government doesn't have to make what would be quite a controversial decision before a general election.
But those are the cynics, Nick. Thanks very much, Nick Eardley, there, our chief political correspondent.
13 minutes past 7, so let's whisk you off to Blenheim Palace this morning. We're not seeing the outside, we're seeing the inside of the Butterfly House, which is where Carol is this morning. Introduce us to your friends, the carp. Carol.
Aren't they lovely, Charlie? They've been whizzing around this little pond all morning. But we're here because of the butterflies. Now, because of the heat wave and also the drought last year, that had an adverse impact on some species of butterflies. And this is because when they were caterpillars, some of the food that they fed on withered and died, and that had an adverse effect on the caterpillars, thus also on the butterflies. But not all of them. Some actually thrived in that kind of weather because they've evolved to cope with it, to cope with the heat. And when we weed our gardens and get rid of some of their natural habitat and their food, well, other things have replaced it. And we'll be talking to an expert about that a bit later on in the program. We'll be down on what we're expecting today.
Thank you very much, Carol. Back with you a bit later on. They're due to wake... Well, I understand they're due to wake up at 8 o'clock or something. Is that right?
That's right, yes, when it's light. And in actual fact, we'll show you it a bit later on in the programme. One of the butterfly keepers has come in and opened one of the cabinets with lots of butterflies in it. So they're going to hopefully come out as well when they wake up. And it will help with the humidity in there too. So a lot to see yet.
Thank you very much, Carol. See you then.
Talking about Adam and you know his journey and everything. Mike, thanks very much.
So let's go to Carol now. You may have seen already, she's at Butterfly House at Blenheim Palace for us today, introducing us to a number of butterflies and moths, I think. So, Carol, who are your friends?
Oh, aren't they fabulous, Charlie? Moths and butterflies here. In fact, we're surrounded by about 300 of them. And you can see a couple of them having a Scooby snack at the moment, feasting on an orange and also on a plum. And there's another one having a little bit of food from that banana. So it's very much breakfast time here at Blenheim Palace this morning. But last year's weather, the heat wave, the drought, had an adverse impact on some species of native butterflies, because if you think about it, some of their plants that the caterpillars would eat withered and died, so that impacted on the caterpillars, then hence on the butterflies as well. And it's not the first time drought has affected the butterfly population in the UK. We had droughts, of course, in the UK in 1976 and 1995. But some of the butterfly species actually did really well, like the large blue and the purple emperor. And that may be because they adapted to the heat and found other forms of food. Now, it's twisty warm in here, but outside this morning, it's also a mild start. It's worth mentioning that if you have an allergy to tree pollen across much of England and Wales today, the levels are moderate.
Yes, the tissues are at hand, Carol. Thanks very much. See you later. Look after your friends. Don't drop anything or be clumsy or anything like that. You know what you like. Thanks, Carol.
As if, Naga, as if.
See ya.
Thanks, Carol. Oh, we got the actor Eddie Mars. Those are the main stories this morning for you. 8:10 the time on Thursday morning. Let's get the weather with Carol at Blenheim Palace for us in the Butterfly House. And butterflies themselves, Carol, it's fair to say, have been fairly quiet. Early for them, isn't it? 8:10 on a Thursday morning.
It's early for us. Oh, Charlie, I must say. What I'm showing you now, though, is the hatchery. Now, in order to keep butterflies, you need a zoo licence. You have to keep records of pupae that hatch, the success and the fail rates, which, of course, can be adversely affected by temperature and humidity. And to do this, it has to be monitored closely. Now, that white box you can see in the corner does just that. It measures temperature and humidity, and then it sends data back to Blenheim Palace and ultimately to an app that allows the keepers to adjust conditions for the butterflies to maximise their environment. And this has actually increased the hatching success rate of the butterflies. And you can see all the pupae in there at different stages of their development. It's really fascinating. There's about 300 butterflies in the butterfly house of different shapes and sizes. Now, it's toasty warm in here, I must say. Outside, it's a mild start to the day again. Tomorrow's temp. And if you're wanting some dry weather, Charlie and Naga, it looks like Sunday is looking not too bad at the moment.
Thanks, Carol. See you later.
To the service we all rely on.
Let's get the weather with Karen now, who spent the morning at the Butterfly House at Blenheim Palace for us today. And gradually, they've been waking up, Carol.
Carol, has one landed on your forehead yet?
They certainly have. Yeah. No, they've been all over me, actually, Naga. They've been on my shoulder, on my jumper, everywhere. And it's quite tickly, I have to say. But good morning, everybody. I'm joined this morning by an expert on butterflies. So let's meet him. His name is Dr. Richard Fox. He is a Butterfly Conservation's Head of Science. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning.
Now, why is today an important day for you?
Well, today we launched the results of last year's UK Butterfly Monitoring Scheme. It's an amazing scheme. Thousands of people go out and regularly count butterflies all over the UK, gives us wonderful long-term data on how our butterflies are faring.
And I believe some native species are actually in decline.
Yeah, sadly, 80% of our butterfly species have declined, either in abundance or distribution in the UK since the 1970s. And in fact, half of our remaining species are listed as threatened or near threatened on the red list.
Gosh, 80% is a huge amount of butterflies. Why has this decline happened?
Well, most of the decline is because we humans have destroyed the habitats where butterflies and other wildlife live. But interestingly, last year, we think that there was a big impact of the summer heat wave and the resultant drought. So we saw that butterfly numbers were pretty good in the first half of the year, but after the drought, numbers of many species like small tortoiseshell collapsed.
So what can we do to help the butterfly population?
Well, I think all of us need to do something. Wildlife is in such a bad state in Britain nowadays that we all need to take some responsibility. So if you've got a garden, let some grass grow long. That's the simplest thing you can do. You don't have to abandon your whole lawn. Let a bit of grass grow long by the fence, by the hedge, and that creates habitat. Butterfly caterpillars can live in there along with beetles and all sorts of other useful wildlife.
That is so interesting. Thank you so much, Richard. And I must say, I love your shirt.
Thank you.
And actually, so did the butterflies. Richard was covered in butterflies just a moment or two ago. Now, it's very warm in here, and the pollen levels, yes, we're talking about that again. Tree pollen is what we're talking about at the moment. And across much of England and Wales today, the levels are moderate. Naga and Charlie.
Carol, can you do a butterfly call to bring them to you so we can see some butterflies? Can you make that noise that you made earlier on?
I can try. Here, butterflies, come over here. Come on, I know you want to. Come on.
Carol, you can say no.
I know, but it's such a spoilt sport thing to do.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Definitely didn't
You're not
work.
very
They're
popular with the
hibernating.
butterflies.
No, it didn't work.
Carol,
Oh, gee,
take
thanks,
care.
Naga.
Thanks for giving it a go anyway. It's been really fascinating,
You
actually.
too.
We've
Thank
learnt
you.
loads this morning as well. Thanks. Take care.
Nothing awkward about that, was there?
Let's take a last brief look at the headlines.
Carol, can you do a butterfly call to bring them to you so we can see some butterflies? Can you make that noise that you made earlier on?
I can try. Here, butterflies, come over here. Come on, I know you want to. Come on.
Carol, you can say no.
I know, but it's such a spot.
That noise that you made earlier on.
I can try. Here, butterflies, come over here. Come on, I know you want to. Come on.
Carol, you can say no.
I know, but it's such a spoilt sport thing to do.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Definitely didn't
You're not
work.
very
They're
popular with the
hibernating.
butterflies.
No, it didn't work.
Carol,
Oh, gee,
take
thanks,
care.
Naga.
Thanks for giving it a go anyway. It's been really fascinating,
You
actually.
too.
We've
Thank
learnt
you.
loads this morning as well. Thanks. Take care.
Nothing awkward about that, was there?